Greetings everybody, this is slicedlime and behind me is quite the machine. This is the Arrow Tipper Mark II. If you recall, a couple of days ago I showed you a machine that would automatically make a large number of potion tipped arrows using an exploit in the arrow and potion lingering cloud mechanics. Now we are in the latest snapshot 15W45A today, and that glitch has been patched away. It is no longer possible to get many potion tipped arrows out of a single lingering potion. So the next best thing, of course, is to automate the process. It is a terrible pain to make these potions, and they're also extremely expensive. But just heading into the end and doing the dragon fight and just spamming bottles, you can get a large amount of the dragon's breath, so it's not really that big of a deal to get a large amount of lingering potions, but then you have to convert them into arrows, and you can only do it 6 at a time, and regardless of how clever mechanisms you set up, it's a pain to do it 6 at a time. I've seen some other machines, I think Cubfan made one that automatically makes 6 arrows for you, but you still have to manually put in a potion and arrows and press a button and such. Now imagine we want to do a big battle on our server or something, and we want, let's say I want 2 stacks of arrows for that. Well, that's going to be a problem. So I've made this machine. So what this machine actually does for you is create an optimal amount of your potion tipped arrows, and it does it all for you so you can AFK while the whole process is happening. So up here, these 2 hoppers are the inputs. We'll put our potions in this one, and we want to do a battle here, so I've gotten a bunch of lingering potions, and then we're putting our arrows in this one. And let's make 2 stacks, and 2 stacks is not an even multiplier of 6, that is 128 arrows. So we're gonna get 126 arrows because this machine only makes 6 arrows. It only does the most efficient use of arrows. So 126 divided by 6 is going to mean 21 lingering potions, which should be just what I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, oh, 15. That was not enough. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, I have no idea if that was correct, so let's do a few extra, just for good measure. Dump in a few extra here. There we go. So what the machine is now doing is it's gathering up the arrows here, shooting them out 6 at a time, splashing them, and then they all fall down here. Down here is another little mechanic that is separate from the one up there, and that is actually an important part. That is a slow clock here that about once a minute, a bit faster, pulses this, as you can see there, and all of the arrows get moved around a bit, and that keeps them alive to make sure that they don't despawn. And when you come back from your dinner or whatever you went to do while this was running, the arrows are still there. So let's see how many we have remaining here. Not so many. Did I throw in only 1 stack? No, I didn't. So, you see we got 2 stacks, but 1 is missing 2, so that's 126 arrows in total. Pretty cool, right? And we're going to see if we look at this hopper up here, the one that's locked by this redstone, that there's 2 arrows remaining. So we still have those in the system. And if we fill in 4 more arrows here, we're going to get another 1, assuming we have potions. And it doesn't matter which potions you put in. You can mix potions if you want different amounts of different arrows. Just load it all up. You're free to leave and go to whatever and let the machine do its thing, really. And if you hook this up to an automatic brewing or something like that, you could essentially have this just creating arrows for you all the time and just periodically go and pick up the arrows here. 'Cause if you get far too many, it's going to lag your world. They are entities after all. So how does this thing work? Well, I'm not going to do a tutorial on it right now because it's fairly clumsy, and I'm sure you can compact this a bit. I'm going to see if I can do that, but if you want a tutorial, let me know in the comments. But I'm going to briefly explain what it actually does. So this is an input, it's just pointed into this one, which is locked and has this comparator. When this starts feeding in arrows here, you can see that this already has a bunch of items. Now, if I feed it 3 more, it's not going to happen anything. You see, this redstone dust is still dark, but if I feed it 1 more, let's see if we can find an angle where we can actually see it. There, feed it 1 more arrow, it will light up, and then this whole thing triggers. So what that does is it combines here. This is an AND gate, so it combines with this, this, and this. It's a bunch of stuff going into the same thing. Now this thing is an output the same way from, it's kind of hard to see here, there's a comparator down here, and this is the dispenser for the potions. So if there are potions, and there are more than 6 arrows, then we're gonna do this thing here. So this output lights up, and that pushes this block over here. This thing is just a hopper clock. There's stuff in here, 3 items in it. So those are all gonna go over here, then you're gonna turn around, and this gets pushed back, and they're all gonna go back. And the output of this actually lights up this block, which lights up all these outputs. Now, one of them is fed directly back into this thing, which means that we don't trigger again. So as long as this signal is on, then we prevent the whole process from starting over. The other output goes here, up here, over here, and then unlocks this hopper. Which means it can now start feeding its items into this chest, which this hopper pulls stuff out of and then puts them into this dispenser. So this whole timer circuit is timed so that exactly 6 items gets pulled out of this hopper, and then they end up in this dispenser, and this comparator is going to say, oh, there's items in this now, so it's going to turn this little clock mechanism on. Let me pick those up. It's going to turn this little clock mechanism on, which fires them out one by one. They get fired into this glass pane, so they're stuck in the center of this block. Now there's also this thing, which is a monostable circuit. It's a pulse shortener, if you wish, and it has 2 directions, and it's going to go first out this way, and that actually fires this dispenser down here, dispensing 1 single potion. That is coming out here, crashes against this block here, and creates a lingering potion cloud right here. The second thing that happens is this signal goes off, which turns this torch off, retracting this piston, but only for a short while, and then it pushes it back. That makes all the arrows lose their grip on this glass pane and fall down through the lingering potion cloud down onto this block. And then, of course, once that's done, this thing is going to release, and if there's more arrows and there's more potions, then the whole thing starts over. And down here we have this little separate mechanism, and this is just an ethos style hopper clock with a full stack of stuff in it. So they travel from one to the other, and then once it's empty, it's going to be pushed over the other way. And then once all of the items have traveled over a single time, so when this is fully empty, over 2 ticks this thing is going to start retracting and then push back up. So any arrows stuck in this are going to move a little bit, which keeps them alive, resets their despawn timer. That's a lot of complicated things. I've been working on this for the entire evening pretty much, and while the mechanisms in it as such are not all that terribly complicated, the whole timing of it is very, very delicate and took a while to get absolutely right. Now, if you want it, I'm going to include this world download as a link in the video description, and I'm also going to put this whole thing as a schematic in the video description so you can try it out. And again, if you're interested, let me know and I will do a tutorial on it in a later video. So that's it, a reasonably convenient way of making potion-tipped arrows, even if I'm still not convinced about this mechanic at all. These arrows are far too expensive, and there are much better ways. If you haven't seen the other video, an idea that I came up with was to use cauldrons and dip the arrows in those instead, and we discussed this a little bit in a mapmaker chat, and Samosaurus6 has made a video showcasing a concept that shows exactly how that idea could work. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that one. But I still think that that would be a much better idea, and I hope the developers are listening to that. Anyway, if this mechanic stays, then you can build this thing to at least make the process bearable. And I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please help me out and leave a like on the video. Greatly appreciate it. My name is slicedlime. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.